But what we're gonna go over is how I prepare, onboard, and train people in an effective way that gets them ramped to where I need them. I've always said the same thing. I'm going to give you everything you need to be everything you can be in the first 90 days. At the 90-day mark, either you're meeting expectations and I'm giving you a raise, or you're not and I'm firing you. And this is how I go about managing that process, because I think too many people on board, here's everything you need to know, good luck, let me know a question, I'm too busy to help you, and then they don't work out and you're like, I can't find a good employee. Sound right? Sound about right? And so this is the process I follow. So the basis of the 30, 60, 90 is a 90-day strategy to onboard effectively. So what I want, I'm gonna review it and then we'll do a breakout on it. The way I want to take this is, I don't want to just give them their entire list of responsibility and roles from day one. It's overwhelming. It's hard for them to understand what to focus on first. It's hard for you to understand whether or not they're tracking and going appropriately. Because we'll be like, right, 6 weeks into hiring somebody and they're crushing it over here, and you're like, what do you mean you don't know how to do this yet? Well, it's like, no one told me. Right? And like there ended up being that gap in the, here's your whole roles and responsibilities, but no real good strategy to onboard you, or me to know, or you to know whether or not you're tracking appropriately. Because this is the truth. Your best employees need more structure around performance requirements than your worst employees. So again, your best employees need more guidance to the requirements than your worst employees. Bad employees don't give a fuck. Top employees want to exceed expectations. If you don't give them expectations, they will flounder. They will not be successful. They'll be overwhelmed because they don't know what to work hard on next. And they get completely out of whack. They get completely uncomfortable. They get distracted by the details of, wow, I just want to, and if you have employees asking you a lot if they're doing a good enough job or not, you're not doing a good enough job setting the expectations. If someone, dude, am I doing a good job? Like, was that good? There's a difference between like asking for feedback and asking for verification if they're actually accomplishing the standard. Does that make sense? So you want to make sure that they clearly understand the standard, because your best employees want to know they're crushing it. I set a bar high, but I still expect people to strive to beat it. But like, don't overcomplicate this. What you want to do in this process is take their entire list of roles and responsibilities, everything that person is going to need to do. Know, understand, think applications they're going to need to know, processes, requirements, safety measures, content strategies, communication styles, meeting agendas, think everything that person is going to need to do. Like I'm going to go around, we'll ask some questions and create some transparency, but like think about the role. Does anybody have a role right now they're about to hire an onboard for? Good. We'll let her talk this time. No, she does. Go ahead.
For an office admin to do half the crap I do.
Okay, so do you have a list of everything that you expect her to do?
Yes.
Okay, so I would take that list and I would prioritize it into 3 blocks. Top priority, middle priority, bottom priority. And there's also some, like this needs to happen for this to happen. Like until they learn the application, they can't manage the schedule kind of thing, right? They can't keep the books until they learn QuickBooks kind of thing. And so break it out and say, this is your top 5 or 6 responsibilities for the first 30 days. And then every 15 days, you're checking in on that list. How are we pacing to that list? So at 15 days, we're having a conversation. At 30 days, we're having a sit down. At 45 days, we're having a conversation. At 60 days, we're having a sit down. At 75 days, we're having a conversation. At 90 days, we're having a sit down. And we're saying, this is the list of priorities. And you're saying, okay, you're ahead of schedule, you're behind schedule. You're ahead of schedule, you're behind schedule. And so you're having 6 conversations with them in the first 90 days about how well they're progressing along the 30, 60, 90. At 90 days, feel free to fire that person if they're not on track. This is where I think this also helps, because I think a lot of owners, especially in this role, you'll be like, well, they're not doing good, but have I done a good enough job? And like, have I trained them enough? And you feel you haven't poured into them enough? This is the metric. It's simple, 5 to 6 items, 30, 60, 90. So if payroll is one of them, or even just like learning where the mailbox is to like deposit checks, right? Go meet the banker we work with. Like one of the 30-day ones for the new event coordinator for me was like, go meet all the board members for Champion Shoes. Like that's part of your first 30 days. I can't have you go get their help until you've met them, right? So go meet them. Right? For her, it could be like, I want you to understand every person we involve with for, let's say, accounts receivable. here's our top 10 customers. I want you to go meet all of their account payable people. Like, because that's your job, is to collect money. Well, you better go meet the people who pay you the money. So take the whole list of responsibilities, break it into priority and order. But as far as 30, 60, 90 goes, it works in both ways. Are you trending to where I'm firing you, or am I trending to giving you a raise? So take the responsibilities, break it out, 30, 60, 90. Every 15 days you're having a conversation to progress and lead them forward. You know and they know whether or not they're on pace, so you feel comfortable giving them a raise or firing them. I think a lot of business owners struggle with the firing side of that because they just don't know when the right time to do that is. 90 fucking days or earlier if they're not progressing and meeting the core values, do what they said they were going to do.